Hello class, so this is the review of Algebra 1 June 2009 exam. So let's get started. So here we have, it takes Tammy 45 minutes to ride, so 45 minutes for 5 miles. But the question is how long, in other words the time, for 8 miles. So in this case what we can do is this, since they are directly proportional in a way that more the mile you have to travel, longer the time it will take. So what we can do is this. 45 is corresponding to 5 miles. That means how long will it be taking? X over 8. Now, here we can cross multiply. We end up getting 5x must be equal to 45 times 8. We know this one to be 340. I mean 360. Sorry. Now, and in order for us to find the value of x, we just have to divide by 5. Then x will be equal to 360 divided by 5, which comes down to 72. So our answer will be 72 minutes. Alright, now let us get going for the second question. How do you find the root? Here the word root is the same thing as solution sometimes, or sometimes it can be described as an x-intercept also. Alright, well let's try to look into this one. How are you going to find out the value of x? The famous factoring, you see we have to factor two numbers multiplied to 6 but add up to -7, which ends up being x minus 6 times x minus 1 will be equal to 0. That tells us then x has to be, by setting up the t-chart, yes, x will be equal to 6 and x will be equal to 1. So 6 and 1 becomes our answer. Choice number 4. Alright, how about here? We should be able to calculate the number by number and by the same variables, x by x and y by y. So 27 divided by 9 becomes, we know that it becomes 3 on top. X to the 18th power divided by x to the 6th power. When we divide, we subtract. So x to the 12th. Same thing here. 5, so whenever there's a nothing, 1 is hidden. So 5 minus 1 becomes y to the 4th power. That becomes our answer, which is choice number 1. Alright, let's get going. Number 4. So, Marie collected 58 stamps if she buys S stamps each week. So, S stamps each, meaning we have to, the value of S is keep on add on to by the week for W weeks. Now, so as of now, she has 58. How much will she have after 1 week later? Then it will be obviously 58 plus S, because she will be buying S stamps each week. Now, following week will be 58 plus 2S. It will just continue in this way, but if you're to have W weeks, what would have happened? 58, which was the original, plus S for how many weeks? W weeks. So therefore, this becomes our answer, which is choice number 2. Alright, let us move on. The question is, which data set describes a situation that could be classified as a qualitative? You see the word qualitative? We're talking about the quality. Which one of these 4 talks about the quality of something that we are looking at? This one is age. Age of the student. It simply means age, which doesn't really talk about the quality that much. On the other hand, if you look into number 3, the favorite ice cream flavor. So this is more like a quality. You see, this will be the qualitative comparison. So therefore, our answer will be choice number 3. All right, number 6. Here must be at least 48 inches tall. That means, can we include 48? Yes, because it says at least. So that means the height has to be greater than or equal to 48. So we'll be looking at something like this, which is choice number 4. Now, when you try to add up the two fractions, there are a couple of different ways of doing it. First way is, let us try to make this one into one fraction. Then what happens? We realize that denominators are not the same. Here we have 3, here we have 6. So we can multiply top and bottom by 2. Then our first fraction becomes 4x over 6 plus x over 6 is equal to 5. And when you combine them, we will end up getting 5x over 6 equals 5. So put it over 1. When you cross multiply them, we get 5x, which is equal to 30. Then x must be equal to 6. Hence making number 1 as our answer. Alright, so let us continue with number 8. Here we have a set of data already. For a die, when it's rolled many times. So based upon this data, what is the empirical, meaning based upon the experiment, the probability of posting a 4. Now we see that example right over here. 4 came out 6 times. Out of how many times? Let us count. Here becomes 9, including this one 13. And here it becomes 19, 23, so total 30. So we're looking at 6 out of 30 possibilities based upon our data. There it goes. Number 2 becomes our answer. Number 9. Here we have how do we find the value of x? Well, we can use the Pythagorean theorem here. So we have 3 squared plus 5 squared must be equal to x squared. And we end up getting 9 plus 25 equals x squared. Obviously, we get the 34 equals x squared. How can we find out the value of x? When we square root both sides. So x must be equal to square root of 34. And that becomes our answer. Alright, here. How are we going to simplify square root of 32? Now, square root of 32, if you think about it, let's see. 32 becomes 16 and 4. Oh, wait a minute. 4. 16 is 4 times 4. And then, oh, I'm sorry, 16 times 2. Then I think we are basically done. This becomes square root of 16 times square root of 2, where this becomes 4 square root of 2. Now, therefore, our answer will be choice number 2. Speed of the sound is 344 meters per second. Okay. Now, meters per hour. So, in order for it to go from second to the minute, we have to multiply by 60 because we have 60 of these happening within 1 minute. Alright, then our answer will be 344 times 60. Alright, but we're not done yet because we are trying to convert it into hour. That means we need 60 of minutes to get into 1 hour. So that means we have to multiply this one by another 60. Now, once you have done that, then you will get our answer. Alright, so let us try looking into this. 344 times 60 times 60. So we get 1, 2, 3, 8, 4, 0, 0. Choice 4 becomes our answer. Alright, let us move on. Number 11. The sum of two numbers is 47. That means, let us say a and b are the two numbers. A plus b is equal to 47. Now, the difference is 15. That means a minus b must be equal to 15. So here, by doing this, we realize that a is bigger number than the second one. But interestingly, how are we going to find out the larger number? Simply by adding those two equations. Then we get 2a here, but b's cancels out. And later we have 62. Therefore, what is a? It's equal to 31. 31 must be the bigger number. Number 13. We are looking for a. When you look into that, a is in two locations right here. Oh, in fact, that's not bad because we can factor them out. So if we factor out a, we have 1 plus r, which is equal to b plus r. How are you going to have a by itself? We have to divide by 1 plus r. Then that becomes our final answer. Which value is the solution? Now, one way is, yes, we can try to plug each values back onto this one, see what happens. Or another way would have been this. Let us subtract 5, then we get 4 over 3x is less than 12. How can you have x by itself? So you have to multiply by its reciprocal. So 3 over 4. Then this x must be less than 9. Less than 9, not equal to 9. So therefore our final answer will be choice number 1. Alright, we talked about box-and-whisker plot here. Upper quartile. This will be the lower quartile. This will be the upper quartile, while this one being the median. So here, upper quartile seems to be from 80 to 90. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it becomes approximately 84. Becomes our answer. Alright, how can you have this one not being defined when the denominator is equal to 0? So here 2n minus 1 equals to 0, that means 2n must be equal to 1, where n equals 1/2. So that becomes our answer. Now in this case we have sophomores. Sophomore class has 60 more than the freshmen, so everybody seems to be compared to freshmen, so let's look into that. Let's let them equal to be x. Then sophomore has to be simply 60 more than the freshman, so x plus 60. Now, the junior class has 50 fewer than twice the students in freshman class, so junior is 2x minus 50. Now, senior class is the 3 times as large as a freshman class. So senior is 3 times as large as freshman. So that's why we came to. Their total becomes 1424. So let us try to add them up. What do we end up getting? We have 10 at the end. Plus we have 7x. Can they be equal to 1424? So when you subtract 10, you get 7x is equal to 14. So when you divide by 7, x will be equal to 202. Therefore, that becomes our answer. Now, vertex, if you want to use the formula, it's going to be something like this. Negative b over 2a. If you have to use this one, b is the coefficient of x. Here we have coefficient of x is negative 16. That means minus negative 16 all over 2 times a becomes 1. Therefore, our answer is 8. Now, but we have positive 8, that means we have 2 locations right here. Then what we're going to be doing is this. When you plug in 8 in place of x, then we're going to get the value of y. So we have y equals 8 squared minus 16 times 8 plus 63. So then we have 64 minus 128 plus 63. Once everything is done, you will realize that this will be equal to negative 1. So therefore, our answer becomes choice number 1. All right, number 19. Let's get started here. So, which statement is true about the relation shown? So, what they're looking for is this a function? Now, one thing about function is that one value of x could only have one value of y. You see, one value of x cannot two or more. So, is this a function? No, because the values of x around here has more than one values of x and one value of y. So the question is, it's not a function, okay, between these two, because there are multiple y values for given x value. That's our answer. Number 3. Now, so if you had to solve this one once again, then you're reading something like this. By adding 9, we have 3y is less than or equal to 6x plus 9. But when you divide by 3, since it's positive number, it doesn't really matter. Y is less than 2x plus 3. So we have 2x. Which one of them has these kind of equations? Maybe it is this one, and it is this one. Well, actually, all 4 of them. Since we have underlined, that means we gotta have the solid line, just like number 1 and number 3. But y is less. That means under the line. Under the line, we've written this question. So therefore, number 1 will be our answer. Alright, so here, simplest form, that means we need to factor and cancel. So here we have x squared minus 2x minus 15. So which two numbers multiply to negative 15 but add up to negative 2? That becomes x minus 5, x plus 3. Now bottom one, since x is common, when you factor out x, we have x plus 3. And these two cancels out. X minus 5 over x. This becomes our answer. Alright, here we have has slope negative 3. That means, oh, it's all of them. The fact that it has to pass this through, that means when you plug in 4, you should get negative 6. So then basically what we have is y equals negative 3x plus b. So when you plug in those two values, negative 6 equals negative 3 times 4 plus b. This actually has to happen, so we end up getting negative 6 equals negative 12 plus 6. When you add 12, we get b equals to positive 6. To make choice 1 to be our answer. Now this one is subtracted from, that means this one goes first. 9x squared minus 2x plus 3 minus 4x squared plus 7x minus 5. What's actually happening? 3 minus minus becomes positive 8. Plus negative minus positive, so that this becomes negative, so we have negative 9x. Here we have 5x squared. So that is our calculation based upon this one. We will end up getting positive, negative. Okay, so choice number 2. Alright, so we have this graph. What are the roots? Here, roots are in other words, is x-intercept. So we have 6 and 3. 3 and negative 6. Choice number 3. Alright, so they're asking for what is the value of the y coordinate. That means what they're looking for is the value y. So we have x plus 2y equals 9. And the second one is x minus y is equal to 3. Since we're looking for y value, we can cancel out the x values here. Then we have 3y, which is equal to 6. And y must be equal to 2. Additive inverse basically means we need to switch the signs. The positive a becomes negative a, which would have been one of these two. Negative b becomes positive b. Okay. When you multiply these two, what would have happened? Now, 12 times 4.2, yes, it is equal to 50.4, but when you write down a scientific notation, the first number has to be between 1 and 9, or less than 10. So therefore, only thing that would have fit is choice number 4. It measured 2 by 2 by 2, but when in fact actual length was 2.1. What is the relative error? So we have volume original becomes 2 to 2. It says 2 here. The volume becomes 8. On the other hand, the actual one is here 2.1, 2.1, and 2.1. So here, when you multiply 2.1 a few more times, nine two six one. Nearest hundredth, so that's how it goes. So then basically what we are doing is 1.26, which is the difference, divided by the actual, which is 9.26. .26 divided by 9.26. Right, that becomes our answer. .136. So basically is equal to 40. They're asking us to combine the two fractions. The common denominator seems to be 12. Okay, so what do I do? Multiply by 3 on each side. On the other hand, we multiply by 4 on each side. And we end up getting 18 over 12a minus 8 over 12a. So we end up getting 10 over 12a, or 5 over 6a. Either way, it would have been our answer. Choice number 2. Now, in order for us to contain 11 and 12, it cannot be greater than 11 because you have to include that. That means maybe number 3 or number 4, but number is 10 part of the set? No, so therefore we cannot have equal sign here, which gives us choice number 4. Alright. Alright, so let us move on to number 31. They are looking for 3-letter arrangement with these many 5 letters, and no letters being repeated. Then let us see. We have 3 possibilities. Of course, in the first spot we could have any one of those 5. Second spot, since we used 1, we only have 4 choices. Third one, we only have 3 choices. When you multiply them, that becomes our answer. 60 ways. Alright, factor completely. I see that 4x is common here. Then we have x squared left, minus 9 is also left. But x squared minus 9 is the difference of the square, so we have 4x and x plus 3 and x minus 3. That becomes our answer. Now, there are 2 English books, and then 3 mathematics books, and 1 French, and 4 social studies. And Theresa select 1 English book, so now we have only 1. And Isabelle then selects social studies book. Becomes 3. And then we are looking for the probability that he selects an English book. So we only have 1 out of how many? 1, 3, 1, 3, which is 1 out of 8. Number 34. Now, from here we have a trapezoid stuck in the circle, and in this case you will realize that CE is 4. Alright, now since the circumference of the circle is 16 pi, and the circumference is 16 pi, then what is the radius? 2 pi r. Pi cancels out, we have 16 equals 2r, r is equal to 8. So the radius is equal to 8. Now, so if this is 4, this is 8. And BC is the 3/4 of the length of the diameter. So this whole thing becomes 16, you see. What this is, BC is 3/4 of 16, which will be equal to 12. So the way which we can find the area of the trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. Then we end up getting what? 12 plus 16 times the height, which is 4 divided by 2. Then, in this case, 28. So therefore we end up getting 56 becomes our answer. Alright, so we have invest $5,000. So expression is, since this one is increasing by that much, what we end up getting is this. We have 5,000, but every year, since that's increasing, we have 1.0375. But how many times will this affect? 3 years. So we're going to raise this one by the third power, and that becomes our answer. $5,000 times 1.0375 raised by third power. So that's basically what we end up getting. So when you calculate that, we'll end up getting this. The question is, find the amount of money he will have to the nearest cent. So we'll end up having 5583.9. 8, 6. That's the dollar amount, including the cents. Alright,